Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and Bitcoin is currently sat at just over 21,300 United States dollars. Looking at this, the Wall Street cheat sheet, whereabouts do you think we are? I think consensus is that we're either in anger or depression. Plan B says this is disbelief because everyone thinks this is a bull trap, and of course disbelief becomes hope, becomes optimism, and then belief. 30% of voters in this poll are still sat in cash waiting for one final dip. And when polled to ask a bull run or bull trap, the majority, as you can see, over 61%, answered bull trap. Capo says he's still short and strong. Make of that what you will. But remember, it is indeed right. Cheds nails it here. It's malpractice not to take a long upon recapture of 18k. And for me, that level was actually 17.6k, the low from back here in June. The charts continue to look more constructive. The 2-week MACD just crossed over. This is bullish, as you can see here. The MVRVZ score is a few $100s away from leaving the green accumulation band. Whenever this has happened historically, very good things have happened for the Bitcoin price. The first public company to buy Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, has increased in value more than every major asset and technology stock in the world. So if I hop into this, you can see here MicroStrategy is up 76% versus Bitcoin up 62%. Outperforming the S&P, the Nasdaq, gold, silver, bonds, and all of these big tech stocks such as Google, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, and Meta. This shows Bitcoin is truly part of a balanced portfolio, even if it's only 1 or 2%. If you don't want to have exposure to a 90-volt asset, I completely understand that. But having zero exposure is frankly irresponsible. The $9 billion European bank N26 is going to launch Bitcoin trading for millions of customers in 5 more EU countries. Again, this is continued adoption, and we continue to see continued adoption. The amount of money that is going to flow into this space this year and over the following years is going to be absolutely enormous. Bank of America has said that CBDCs and stablecoins are a natural evolution of money and payments. These CBDCs are indeed coming. We are running out of time to exit the system. And as if central bank digital currencies are not reason enough to want to exit the system, then keep in mind, the US Treasury Secretary has admitted the only way to avoid default on the national debt is to raise the debt ceiling so the government can borrow from the new lenders and use that money to repay existing lenders. This amounts to an official admission that the US is running the world's largest Ponzi scheme. When you have to raise the debt ceiling so you can borrow from new lenders to repay the existing ones, you know this operation amounts to nothing more than a Ponzi. And as if that's not enough, the interest costs on the federal debt are going to double this year to over $800 billion. So say it with me, debt spiral. Fiat debasement is 100% certain. There is no way they can pay this money back without massive inflation. It's the only way they can make the debt serviceable. If anyone's wondering about what if they default on the debt, could they default on the debt? I put out a video yesterday, so you can go and check that out if you want to see my thoughts on the idea of a default by the USA. So don't forget, it is indeed a Ponzi. They can taper and they can tighten it, but soon enough, they will be back to debasement. Bitcoin is a hedge against the debasement of currency supply. Over in the equity world, and here in the UK, we have all-time highs in UK stocks. European markets are leading the US, and the economic conditions are improving dramatically. If you've been on this channel before, the FTSE 100 being at new all-time highs is no news to you. Here you can see the FTSE 100 in blue significantly outperforming the S&P in orange. The Eurozone here in purple significantly outpacing the US in black below. And the current economic situation in red is lagging way behind that of Germany's in blue, as you can see here. So Europe is leading. The big question is, are the US equities going to catch up? Are they going to follow suit soon? We know that global investors have been dumping US equities, and you can see that here, partially responsible for the lag in the US. However, remember, retail investors always sell the bottom. According to Goldman, US retail sold all of the stocks they accumulated during the 2019 to 2021 period, and then they went further beyond to capitulate. This is how it always unfolds, unfortunately. Retail sell the bottom and they buy the top. Not only have retail sold the bottom, they are also massively short here. A big short squeeze has been in the works for a long time. The put to call ratio has been trending up and making new highs as investors continue to bet on massive downside for the market. It does not mean we could not go down, but what it does mean is record amounts of retail are likely on the wrong side of the trade. The path of most pain here is indeed higher for equities to scorch all of these shorts and force all of the retail that bought the bottom to FOMO back in at much higher prices. I opened a new trade yesterday. We'll get to the charts just a second. So I'm currently long Tesla. As you can see, I put this out yesterday when I took my entry. So we'll see how this goes. Stop just below these lows here, targeting a nice run up here. The dollar not really chopping around, not really putting in a counter trend bounce like I thought it might. So it doesn't mean we couldn't, but for now, dollar continues to show weakness. We are on a 101 handle. The bonds, are the bonds going to roll over and take out these lows? If they do, I think risk can come on very quickly, and that is indeed my expectation, as you will know if you've been watching the channel for a while. The US 2-year yield, look at this, breaking down below these levels here. This was a massive level. This has taken a while. You can see we chopped around this a lot. Are we about to roll over, take out and set new lows? The bond market continues to call a Fed bluff here. The bond market does not believe the Fed is going to continue to hike rates. As you can see here, the probability for a 25 basis point hike is 93.2% currently. So I would say this 25 basis point is entirely priced in at this point, and markets will be forward looking to see if we get any language indicating a pause from the Fed. Bitcoin continues to hold these levels, continues to chop around in this range. If I flip it onto log, you can see it's thinking about making the final line of repair. Ethereum, much of the same as Bitcoin. As you can see, XRP still can't get above 40 cents, so not much more to say about that either. MATIC seems to be consolidating, so we'll just let it do its thing, and the same for Zcash. Gold, is this the top? Is this going to end up being a swing low, or is this just going to melt straight up and target these take profit areas up here at 2050? That of course remains to be seen. If the dollar's going to continue to bleed, then this is likely not going to play out, and instead we're going to melt up to the top of this range here, where I would be looking to take profit for gold. So as ever, one day at a time. Silver, is silver finally going to break out? I want to see a nice strong daily close above this blue box that I've drawn, and then I can entertain a long. For now, this to me speaks to consolidation before a move higher, but we have to be aware that any kind of counter trend bounce from the dollar could force a cycle low in both gold and silver. Miners, I remain long, I remain strong. Would not be surprised to see some sort of back test of the breakout area before we can go higher, but for now, just long and strong and see what the market can give. Same is true of the junior miners, as you can see here. As I said earlier, got a new position, a new long for Tesla. So again, wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a back test before we can go. But if this is just going to go, then we'll let it go. And if we have to take a stop, then we have to take a stop. Doesn't really matter, does it? Marathon is, of course, benefiting from Bitcoin's bullishness. So not much to say about that other than long and strong continue to push. The exact same is true of Riot, as you can see here. So I would expect this to have some level of pullback or consolidation at these sorts of highs around 7.2. But for now, long and strong continue to push. MicroStrategy starting to push higher, of course, benefiting from Bitcoin exposure at the moment, so that's nice to see. Same is true of Coinbase here. I think there's plenty of open space above here, so hopefully this is going to end up being a near 10x trade. That remains to be seen. FTSE 100 continues to look constructive, continues to, I think, consolidate before a move higher, and hopefully we can get up here to this 8,500 range where I'll take my profit. Any sort of pullback here or bull flag can be bought on a break above to the upside, in my opinion, so maybe I will get a chance to add here. But if this is just going to continue to push up, then I just want to give it the room and let it run, see what the market can give. Dow Jones, this was a big red candle here. If you're a bear, you really need to see more follow through here. If you're bearish, you really need to see this continue to roll over and then eventually come down to take out these lows that are clustered here. If you're a bear and we get some sort of price action like this and we break out above this red line, then one, that can be an ad for bulls or people that are sidelined. But two, if you're a bear, you really need to flip your narrative and become a bull if we take out these local highs here, because that is indeed bullish structure, not bearish structure. Nasdaq still working on a test of this downward sloping red resistance line. Get above here and I will be long, but we have to be open to the fact that we could get rejected here and then start to work our way down. So as ever, one day at a time. We have got wide market participation, wide breadth in the indexes at the moment, which leads me to think markets have a good chance at resolving higher. Lastly, the S&P 500, it's right into resistance, so perhaps we can have either a bull trap that resolves downwards, or based on all the retail selling the bottom, I wonder if we get a bear trap that then resolves higher. Not making any decisions or predictions, not making any guesses, not jumping in and out of any trades before I have true technical breakouts. Just taking it one day at a time and letting the market tell me what I need to do and how to position. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's have a quick look at Apple. Apple starting to work its way into this resistance here. So if it can break out, that can be a long. If not, no worries. Geo continues to look constructive. I've been saying for a while I suspect it would chop around in this box and then look to break out, and then we can add a position here. The stop loss, as I've said dozens of times already, has already been moved up to here. So that's Geo. We'll see how that goes. And ARKK, okay? Look at this. I said for a while ago, I've been saying for a while, if we can chop around in this box and then break out of it, that will be a long from me targeting much higher numbers for ARKK. So this is a very unloved ETF, and nobody can be blamed for not loving this ETF given the drawdown that it had from its highs. But as a technical trader, as a chartist, I don't really care about any of that. If it breaks out above this blue box, I'll add a position and see what the market can give. So looks like we're gonna potentially do what I thought it might, which is chop around here and break out. So I'm lining this up, calling this well ahead of time. I don't expect this to just sort of rocket higher, but if it does, then we'll deal with that as it occurs. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notifications on if you want to continue to get updated on all of my trades, anything I modify, whether it's closing positions, opening new ones, spotting ideas, calling out trade ideas well ahead of time. Remember, it's all for free. I've had a few people ask me about Patreons and Discords. To be honest, I'm not really interested in that. I just want to continue to do this for free because that's what I love to do. So I hope you're doing well in life. In the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.